Welcome in Movie Podcast, and today we talk about Cocaine Bear, proves Matthew Rhys should do more comedy. Between the ruthless Russian spy Philip Jennings in The Americans, the weary titular detective in Perry Mason, and even the cynical journalist Lloyd Vogel in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, there's no one better at playing brooding, dark characters than Matthew Rhys. The Welsh star that can seemingly mask his accent seamlessly has continued to appear in serious-minded films such as The Report, The Post, Burnt, and Come What May. Considering how grim Rhys' performances usually are, some audiences may have been shocked to see him pop up for a wild comedic role in Cocaine Bear. It hopefully won't be the last time Rhys does comedy, because he clearly has an aptitude for it. Matthew Rhys finds subtle humor in The Americans. Phillips of The Americans is arguably Rhys' most iconic role. Not only did he play the character for 6 excellent seasons, but he married his co-star and won an Emmy Award amidst its run. What made The Americans one of the greatest shows of its era was its humanity, as the undercover KGB agents Philip and Elizabeth have to realistically resemble an American couple. This leads to some humorously awkward tension between them. It's established in the pilot that Philip is willing to defect based on his appreciation of American culture, but Elizabeth is a stout Russian patriot. This leads to amusing scenarios in which the quick-witted Philip comes to the defense of classic rock, fast food restaurant chains, and shopping excursions. While The Americans is generally ironic in a dramatic sense, it's often that Philip can't help but see the humor in given situations. The Jennings couple are shocked when they realize that their next-door neighbor, Stan Beeman, Noah Emmerich, is an FBI agent searching for cover KGB operatives. It's humorous to see the subtle expressions and physical adjustments that Rhys makes as Philip attempts to become the type of football-loving, workout-obsessed nationalist that Stan is. Perhaps it's not as wild as his eccentric role in Cocaine Bear, but it showed that Rhys could handle different aspects of physical comedy. An inherent eccentricity of The Americans is that Philip must undergo many different personas and dress in elaborate disguises. This showed how Rhys is able to transform his persona on the flip of a switch, especially when Philip is given some particularly unusual secret identities. A storyline in which he goes undercover to befriend the defiant teenager Kimberly Breland, Julia Garner, forces Philip to turn into a pretentious stoner adds some of the show's best laughs. There's a great extended sequence where Philip mixes popcorn into ice cream as he smokes marijuana and listens to Dark Side of the Moon. It's the type of wild antics that would be well suited in an R-rated comedy. Matthew Rhys is straight-laced in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is not a biopic of Mr. Rogers, played to perfection by Tom Hanks, but an exploration of his wisdom through the eyes of a grumpy journalist. Prior to writing his Esquire piece, Vogel was known for his shrewd attitude and serious outlook on life. There's an inherent humor in seeing Rhys and Hanks interact, because they're essentially the grumpiest and friendliest two men on Earth. It's often hilarious to watch Rhys' signs of disgust as Vogel has to pretend to take an interest in the neighborhood of make-believe and the characters King Friday or Daniel the Striped Tiger. Why would a professional journalist want to play with puppets? The effects that Rogers has on Vogel turn him into a more caring and sensitive person. While again this is mostly treated as a dramatic progression of his character, it does lead to some humorous scenarios. Vogel's family is somewhat shocked to see what a different person he becomes upon the publication of his piece on Rogers. His wife Andrea, Susan Kelechi Watson, ends up enjoying herself when Vogel takes a seemingly random interest in showing acts of kindness. It's impressive that Rhys was able to weave so much naturalistic comedy into an otherwise serious project. It stands to reason that a full-on comedy would give him a chance to expand these skills. Matthew Rhys underseen comedy roles. Even if he's best known for his signature dark characters, Rhys has occasionally been given the chance to flex his comedic chops. Between BoJack Horseman, Tuca and Bertie's, and Archer, Rhys is frequently a voice actor in adult animated sitcoms, and he even received an Emmy nomination for Best Guest Actor in a Comedy Series for a role in HBO's Girls. In fact, one of Rhys' breakout roles was starring in a stage adaptation of Mike Nichols' beloved 1967 coming-of-age dramedy The Graduate. Unfortunately, many of the comedies that Rhys has appeared in simply didn't work. He can't be criticized for his performances in Virgin Territory, Love and Other Disasters, or Burnt, but they didn't exactly give him the best material to work with. Cocaine Bear showed what Rhys could do with just an ounce of flexibility. He gives one of the most memorable performances in a movie that also features outstanding comedic work from Alden Ehrenreich, Ray Liotta, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and Margot Martindale, all of whom have much more comedic experience than he does. It's certainly admirable that any actor is able to seamlessly transition from one prestige drama series to another, and it's likely that many more seasons of Perry Mason will be coming. However, it would be sad if drab, self-loathing anti-heroes are the only characters that Rhys is remembered for. He clearly has the aptitude for comedy, he just needs the proper outlet to utilize it.